Hey guys, what's up? This is Munyani Wright. Hey, it's been a while. Hello. So I think it's been about, I want to say, since New Year's Eve, since I've been recording. So I just want to, let you all know what the update is, what I've been doing. Basically, I finished my series. So for those of you who have not read, it's the Music Man series. Yay! So all 3 books are released, and the 3rd one came out about 3 weeks ago. So yeah, it is complete. For this video, I'm just going to talk about my series a little bit, and then, some other stuff that's been going on in this world. It's just so much stuff, so many things. So I'll try to get to the point and not make it that much of a long video. But so for those of you who don't know, I'm also an artist. So I did illustrate the first 2 books. So, and real quick, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, click the subscribe button and the like and subscribe. That way you get, up-to-date content from me. I will start posting either once every 2 weeks or once a week. So it'll be more often than what I'm already doing. I've been losing weight. I've been losing my weight. So I'll probably more than likely post a video of me showing you how to measure yourself to keep track of, your weight loss. If you are in I don't want to say a weight loss regimen because it should be a lifestyle change, but if you are losing weight, I will show you, if you don't know already, how to measure yourself properly. And then also just some tips on what to eat and, which exercises to do to lose weight. I've already lost, since I became serious in December, I've went down, I want to say 2 to 3 inches. So 2 to 3 pant size. 2 to 3 pant sizes. So, yeah. And I'll go over that in a second. But first, let me just talk about the series. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm also an artist. So I did illustrate the first book, The Music Man. So I illustrated, so that's the Music Man, that's Jimmy, and that's the piano, and that's the bench. So I did draw all of this. I illustrated that, and then I also illustrated this character with the violin and the violin bow. Now for my 3rd book, the last book of the series, I did not illustrate this. I purchased the photo stock for this one. Actually, I did not draw the guitar. But I may end up making another book cover, like another, some authors have different book covers out. It's the same book, but just with different covers. So I might do that. We'll see. I don't know yet. We'll see. I actually did start when I was releasing this book, when I was about to release this one. I was drawing a boy with a guitar, but it was going to be too big because, guitar is it's like a larger instrument, so it was going to take more of space. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But anyway, so for those of you who don't know, so I did write, so pretty much the Music Man series, it's fantasy, it's sci-fi, it's thriller, and I'm sorry I sound groggy right now. It's late. It's really late. For those of you who don't know, I have a child. He's 7, and so I have to wait till he goes to bed because otherwise he'll try to interrupt the video, and I just don't feel like dealing with that right now. So yeah, you know how kids are. So I had to wait for him to go to bed. But anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the Music Man. So the Music Man, without giving too much away. He's a black man. It takes place in England on the outskirts of London. So it's not directly in, the first book is not directly in London. It's on the outskirts of London. He's a black man. He's a pianist. He plays other instruments, but he's mainly a pianist. And he's gone through some tragedy. He's gone through some things in his life. And then you have Jimmy, who is who's also black, and he loves music. And then he befriends the Music Man, and they both find out they have a passion for music. The Music Man pretty much introduces Jimmy to his piano, and then the rest is history. It's a tale of like fantasy. It's a story of fantasy, sci-fi, science fiction, because they travel to another dimension with the piano. So it's science fiction, it's thriller. So my book is actually, all three of my books, they're really fast paced, right? They don't, how do I say this? Like, they're page turners. Like, they keep you engaged to the point where you want to just keep reading. So those are all three of my books. They're really engaging. I wrote the screenplay for the first book. It has won 2 awards. So the first award, the Music Man, it won the Log Line Festival in Los Angeles. And the log line is pretty much like, if you have a blurb or, a synopsis to a book, it's pretty much like the pitch, right, of the screenplay. So that won that festival. And then it placed quarterfinalists for the Atlanta, like the actual screenplay placed quarterfinalists for an Atlanta screenplay festival. So, yeah, it's getting there. I'm trying to make them into movies. So, if you haven't read them by now, people have from all over, from like Europe to Africa to Canada, Jamaica to India to the United States have purchased my book. So, so the first one is, there's not that much. There is a little bit of world building. For those of you who have seen or have read The Maze Runner, and this is a spoiler alert, spoiler. So the first book, Maze Runner, they didn't start introducing Wicked, as far as their agenda, until later on, towards the end of the first book / movie, and they started to do the world building towards the end, but they put more world building in the second one. So that's kind of like how my first book is. It gives you a glimpse of the world, but then it starts building more and more and more from book to book. So I will say that it's more so the story development in the first one. It's introducing you to the characters, right? It's introducing you to the characters. It's introducing you to the plot, to the villain and whatnot. So, because keep in mind, it's a series, so I had to I had to really focus on the character building in the first one, because it paves the way for the rest of the series. And so, what I want to say. So the first book can be read as a standalone. I will say that if you do it that way, you're not going to get the whole story. So I would suggest, the whole series, so I would suggest reading all three. But the first book could technically be read as a standalone, but it won't be complete if you read it. If you just read the first one, right? There's more to it. So let's see what else. What else? So yeah, let me see. I'm so sleepy right now. It's not even funny. But at least it's quiet. Okay. So yeah, the series, it has witches in it. It has ghosts. It's a paranormal. It's paranormal / science fiction / mystery fantasy. So it's all of those genres with a little bit of romance. There's a little bit of romance in it. Nothing too crazy. So let me just show you so this one, the first book cover, I just want to explain. So as you know, I'm also an artist. So you have the piano, the Music Man, Jimmy sitting on the bench, and there's the music sheet right there. The background, these are supposed to resemble stars, they're playing, they're going to another dimension. So that's the night sky, pretty much, or you could say space or the universe, and they're going to the other dimension, and on this book cover. I had to make sure my volume is on, because one time I recorded a video and the microphone wasn't even clicked, so I was like recording and like I had to start over because the microphone wasn't even like clicked. Yeah. So the second book is The Music Man Other Dimensions. Now this is supposed to resemble like the galaxy, like a galaxy. So all of these right here, like the stars. Well, I wouldn't say stars. I would say more like, you could say like constellations are composed of stars, but like it's more like how do I say this? Like a galaxy formation, right? Like this one is more so they're starting to go through the universe or to the other dimension, and this is like in the actual like galaxy or whatever you want to call it. But and so this is one of the characters. She has a violin and a bow, and it's called The Music Man Other Dimensions. And as I mentioned, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe and like button. That way you get up to date. But I'll also include the description of my series and description link and how to find them and whatnot. So, or the link. And then this is the third book to the series. It's called The Music Man Hidden Portals, and this is supposed to be again a galaxy, like the universe, with the guitar. Okay. Now I'm not going to explain why I did it that way, where I have the piano and then the violin, as you can see, and then the guitar. Basically, you'll have to read it, but it all connects. Like each one picks up where the last one left off. So the second book picks off where the first one left off, and the third picks up where the second one left off. Yeah, I mean, I've been writing since 2014 as far as the first novel, and the third one was released 3 weeks ago. So it took me about 7 years to finally get all three out. It's been a journey. I'm thankful though. I am thankful. I did self-publish all 3 books. I'm not through I didn't go the traditional route where I went through a publishing company, a publisher. I actually am the publisher, and I wrote them and self-published them. So I'm what you call an indie author, for those of you who don't know. If you don't, authors that don't go the traditional route, we call indie authors, self-published authors. So yeah, I do all my marketing. I do I edit my books. I also edit them. Let's see here. I'm really good at editing, but I've edited my books. What else have I done? Like I said, I illustrated my books. So the audiobooks, now I will say the first 2, they do have audiobook versions of them. The third one I am working on right now. I'm getting that narrated for the third one, so that one will be out soon as far as the audiobook is concerned. But right now, the third book is available in paperback and Kindle. In fact, all 3 of them are available in Kindle and paperback format. And the first 2 are available on Audible, which is the audiobook version of the first 2. Let's see what else. So my microphone actually... Okay, there it is. So, let's see, what else do I want to say? So, yeah, all 3 books are out. So I actually am starting a book tour soon. So that is something that is going to take place. About 2 weeks ago. No, not 2 weeks ago. About 3 weeks to 4 weeks ago. I did a couple of interviews, and so the lady, she's very nice. She asked me about the movie Soul, or she mentioned the movie Soul. She mentioned Jamie Foxx. For those of you who don't know, Soul is, I guess Joe is voiced by Jamie Foxx in the movie Soul, and she mentioned Jamie Foxx. Now, and for those of you who have been in a situation, like, my first book came out September, or it was either September or October of 2018. So you know what I mean? Like because she asked me, she was like, I think she said, it sounds like just something Jamie Foxx should read. You know, that, but it's like, it's so weird because my book came out in 2018. So like, the first time I even heard about Soul was when someone was playing the movie trailer last year. Like, it was like March of last year, or around like March or April or something. And I had, you know what I mean? Like, and I was like intrigued because I'm like, this is similar to like the musician part of Soul is similar to my book, because the Music Man, he's a black man, a black pianist, right? And he goes to another dimension, and only the piano takes him to the other dimension. So, I was like confused. I'm not confused, but I was intrigued because I was like, this is interesting. So, I mean, sometimes, as artists, there's so many artists on this planet, and so what happens is that sometimes people think alike, and that could be what it is. Me and whoever, I think it's P. Doctor, created Soul. Like, that could be it. It could be that Pixar saw my book. I have no idea, honestly. I'll never know. Probably. I mean, I don't know. But I'm not worried about it because, like I mentioned, like, anyone can see that my book came out in 2018, and I got it copyrighted. So my books are copyrighted. But yeah, they all three came out 1 year after the other, except for the third one. The third one I didn't release till 3 weeks ago, but the second one came out like October or September 2019. So the third one came out a little over a year. I would say a year and like a year and 6 months later. So that's not bad, but sometimes it happens like that, like a book of life. For instance, that came out in 2014, 2015, and then Coco came out in the end of 2017 or 2018. So, sometimes it's like that where some things are just similar, even though they don't, like, both people don't know about each other's work. Sometimes that happens. It just depends. But I'll give Pixar the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they didn't. Maybe, see my work. Maybe they didn't. Maybe it's just something that it's one of those instances where we both think alike. Me and, I guess, P. Doctor. I don't know. But but I came up with the idea for my book, like I mentioned in my other video. I came up with it in 2014. So, I came up with it in 2014. I just kept writing it. But yeah, so I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, it's a fantasy sci-fi. And my book, and I think another thing, spoiler alert, for the movie Soul, my books actually are centered around music. When I watched Soul, it wasn't really, Soul wasn't really centered around Joe. It was, to me, it felt like it was more centered around 22, like helping her find her, passion or whatever. It wasn't focused on Joe. So it didn't feel like music was the thing, because Joe's a musician, but it didn't, to me, it wasn't centered around Joe. It was almost like he was like the backdrop, like the background of the movie. You know what I mean? Like, it was like he was like the I don't want to say the second main character, but it was like he was like, his story took the backseat of 22's, right? And so that's how I felt about it. That's what I'm going to say about the movie. But like, I felt like it was more focused on 22 as opposed to Joe. And so, but my series is literally focused on all of them. It's focused on all of them, and it's centered around music. Like music, like even the villain, the antagonist, like, he's trying to possess people through music. And that's another thing, like, you can almost call it dystopian too, because he's trying to possess people to, like, be his slaves, pretty much. Like, he's trying to have control over them. So you can call it dystopian because it is set in the future. I don't want to tell too much of it, but it is set in the future when they go to the other dimension and stuff. So, yeah, it's very interesting. But, what did I say? So yeah, if you haven't already, you can buy them all on Amazon. You just got to type in, The Music Man by Munyani Wright. And like I said, I'll put the information down below. And then they should all come up, the series page and whatnot. So yeah, support your indie authors. Like I said, we do all the marketing most of the time we do all the marketing. We do all the promotional stuff. I know that's part of marketing, but like for instance, I'm launching a book tour here soon. So that's going to be interesting. COVID pretty much put a damper because I was going to start doing book signings and stuff, but COVID put a damper on it, unfortunately. So, but anyway, so yeah, I think for this video, I'm just going to ramble about things that's been on my mind. I need to get some tea because I'm so sleepy right now. But, these times are so crazy. It's best to stay grounded, to stay meditate every day, exercise, eat healthy, just take care of your mind and your body, your soul, because it's just so much going on. I am glad that Derek Chauvin was found guilty. I pray that he gets the maximum sentences because he shouldn't be on the streets, you know what I mean? What he did was just, wow. So, I hope the other 3 officers are found guilty as well because they did help Derek Chauvin. And that's, as far as what happened to George Floyd. I'm praying for George Floyd's family, that they find peace, some kind of peace, just praying for strength for them. And, I'm just praying for this world because, it's so much going on. Police brutality, it's just, and this is all over, the world. It's not just in America, It's not just in America because there's people protesting overseas, due to, the curfews, due to the virus. And that's another thing, I don't understand. So, if the virus, okay, I know there are different variants, right? But at first, it was just COVID, right? But people were being being mandatorily, if that's a word, mandatory. Okay, let me rephrase. So it was mandatory for people to be in their homes, in some instances by 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. That sounds crazy. Especially if okay, I could see if the virus had a 80% survival rate or a 90% survival rate. It has a 99% survival rate. Unless I'm missing something, please let me know. Comment if you choose. But I'm just what? It's almost like tyranny. What are you doing? I feel because what that does is you got people that could be in domestic situations, domestic abuse situations, that could be in, substance abuse situations, that, small business owners who, are losing business because they have to be inside their homes or they can't operate their business because of COVID. It's just craziness. And I feel it's hurting people more than it is helping because, and that's another thing, the government is not pushing to eat healthy, to exercise. You don't hear any of that. You just hear vaccinate, 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 vaccinate. That's all you hear. And I'm sitting here it's weird. It's very strange. I'm not against the vaccine, but at the same time, I feel people shouldn't solely rely on the vaccine, right? People should have already been eating healthy, already have been exercising, some type of exercise regimen, And then on top of that, since COVID came out, that should make people be okay, I need to really focus on my health. You know what I mean? So I feel this vaccine push, it's almost it's, I don't want to say counterproductive. Hopefully it's effective. I don't know. But I feel the government officials need to be hey, eat healthy along with this, exercise, don't just rely solely on the vaccine. And so it's just, it's just a lot going on. And so I'm telling y'all, just stay meditate. I cannot talk right now. Keep meditating every day. Just try to stay inside yourself. Just I don't mean stay inside your head. What I mean by that is being grounded, within yourself, being sane being comfortable with, being at peace with yourself, within yourself. Because there's just so much going on, with racism. I'm glad that more people are talking about it now, because when I used to talk about it, people used to be like, what? I don't think that's happening. And sure enough, it's been happening this whole time, So I'm glad people are starting to talk about it finally and starting to take it seriously and not make it like some type of taboo subject. I never understood that. Come on now. Because it's always been there. I've experienced it in the workplace, and I used to work at a couple of jobs. I used to experience it. Just walking out, being out and about. I used to experience it. And so it's annoying because my African Americans, we didn't choose to be here. We did not. Most of us did not choose to. No, probably 99% of us, or 98, did not choose to be here. As far as once we, our parents and all that, we did not. Our ancestors did not choose to be here. They were taken from Africa, and brought over here unwillingly, by force. And so, it's craziness. And then all this gun violence and stuff, America. But you know what? I've realized that it's not surprising to me, because America was built on violence. The land was literally taken away from the natives, from Native Americans. It was stolen. And then on top of that, they brought slaves over from Africa. They brought Africans over from Africa to be enslaved, to work, to plow fields, to build, monuments, to build a lot of things here for free, right? And be tortured at the same time and stuff, and beaten and all that. It's just craziness. And this was all done by force, by guns, right? And so it's not surprising to me that, certain powers want to keep guns within the United States and stuff like that. I don't want to say what do people expect, but it's you have to realize America was built by force. It was built on violence, by force, by guns, right? They didn't take America by swords no, they had guns. They had, they didn't take it by, they didn't take it by just simply, chatting or, they kind of did with the Native Americans. They pretty much betrayed them after, I think it was Thanksgiving dinner or whatever. But they turned around and took the land from the natives and stuff like that. And it's happened all over the Caribbean and stuff, but we all know the story. But it's just bewildering. So, and I just started researching my ancestry. My great, I think it's the third, great grandmother was a slave, right? She was a slave up until slavery ended. And seeing those slave ledgers, it's wow. I can't believe this happened. And so, because it's one thing learning about it in school, but when you actually see slave ledgers and you see censuses where your, loved one is listed as, not by their name, but as the color of their, or not even the color of their skin, because, I guess you can say that some of it did state the color, but it was, the word Negro, it was what, that's how, or mulatto, it's just very disturbing. So, but not by their name, right? So it was just very disturbing. Anyway, so yeah, I just thought that was interesting, but, hopefully everybody gets it together. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, because I feel like I'm glad that these conversations are being had now, and that, certain companies or whatever, certain people are taking actual long-term steps to correct racism and bring equality for all. It's going to take some time, but at least, people are talking about it more. Some of these extremists, though, I think are kind of I want to say tainting the mission of Black Lives Matter. You're going to have extremists with every group, but some of these people, they're causing more division, and it's not helping the situation. So I don't agree with people going up to, people that's sitting in restaurants outside and going up to them and chanting stuff. I don't think that's helping the situation. I think it's hurting it. I get that people are angry. I get it. But at the same time, there's another way to go about it, you know, because what you're doing is you're giving people that don't want the status quo to change. You're giving them ammunition to keep stuff the way that it is when you start doing that. So keep that in mind. Like, you might feel good in the moment, but what you're doing is you're pretty much giving them the impression that you're not that you're unstable, but that you have to go through, like, by hate, even though they're, you know, and I'm not saying the people that are specifically at the tables eating and stuff. No, not by all means, no. I'm talking about, what I'm saying is that when you go up to, you know, certain groups of people and saying, well, you know, all this stuff, like, all you're doing is you're adding more fuel to the fire. And I feel like you shouldn't be doing that, because, like, at the end of the day, the people that want things to be the way they are, they're going to be like, oh, you know how they do. Like, they flip it. They be like, oh, well, you know, look how they're acting, you know, and all this. You know, that's racist, right? That's what racism is. Where they try to deflect it to the oppressed, or to the people that are actually the ones that are complaining. They try to deflect their anger. You know, they try to dilute their anger by saying, oh, you're, or the reason for their anger by saying, well, they're acting like savages or heathen, you know what I mean? And which is wrong, but that's what I'm saying. That's how they think. So we have to, you know, honestly, we have to, and I believe that, like, I protested in several protests, you know, and, you know, it's something. I've protested, and I've also seen how the police officers help put fuel to the fire as well. You know, I was in one protest where, you know, a group of protesters were sitting on the ground, right? And they had their hands above their head, but the police officers kept, like, coming towards them and trying to move the protesters. I thought that was strange. Like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like, you should just let people protest. Why are you trying to move them out the way? It was very odd. So, you know, I mean, it's just crazy stuff going on. But let me see what else I want to talk about. Oh yeah, so anime. So Hayao Miyazaki, he is so talented. So for those of you who don't know, real quick. So like I said, I'm an artist. So right now I'm gonna focus more, since my books are out, I'm gonna focus more on drawing and illustrating, and then drawing portraits, illustrations. I do have a website for my art. It's called AshleyWrightCreates.com. So there is a gallery that's online, and it just shows, like, some fan art. It shows some of my work. I'm not selling most of those pieces. I'm not doing that. But what I am gonna start doing is I may start selling some pieces. Yeah, and maybe doing some work for others. Like, I mean, as far as, like, drawing or whatever. So. Because I do that as well. So I'll probably do that. And then I'm getting into animation. So, oh yeah, I do have a book trailer out for my first book. If you haven't seen it, you can actually look at it. It's in one of my videos on my channel, so you can see the trailer. But I did make that trailer. I did draw all of the illustrations that go into the trailer. And I did not make the music. I'm not there yet as far as, you know, composing, but I did pick the music selection. So, yeah, but I am going to get into animation. Right now, I am learning the guitar. So, as you all know, I'm a music lover. I love music, like most all genres, from, you know, classical to hip hop to R&B to pop to jazz. Like, I love music. Or into rock. I love rock as well. So yeah. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I am gonna start doing that. But oh yeah, so Hayao Miyazaki. Like, I love his anime. You know, Spirited Away is like my favorite movie, my favorite animated movie of all time. My favorite anime movie of all time. It's like my favorite one. Also with Howl's Moving Castle, that's another one. Secret World of Arietti, Castle in the Sky. You know, he's just so talented. You know, he directs, he writes, he draws, just super talented. You know, he pretty much inspired me. What else I was gonna say? And like Only Yesterday, I think that's from another filmmaker at Studio Ghibli, but like, you know, that movie's good. Ponyo, The Wind Rises, you know, all those. Kiki's Delivery Service, you know. So I mean, the creators pretty much inspired me at Studio Ghibli, specifically Hayao Miyazaki. Like, that man is talented. So shout out to Hayao Miyazaki. Shout out to J.K. Rowling. As you read my series, you're gonna see that she influenced me. She did a lot. She influenced me. She's like, I mean, I'm telling you, like, she inspired me to write my own series. Like, she's dope. She's dope. So shout out to J.K. Rowling. I know some people are asking, like, well, why did you pick England as a setting? That's a good question. So actually, I've always been drawn to the British dialect, the British accent. So I've always watched, like, let's see. Like, for instance, I used to watch Sherlock Holmes a lot. Is it Designing Women? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think that's in London. Hold on. There's a series that's in London. It's not Designing Women. It's another series, and I can't think of it right now. But I watched it when I was like 17 years old, and I loved it. It was set in London, literally. And I just can't remember the name of it, but I watched that. You know, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. You know, all of that stuff kind of pretty much, all of those, you know, works of art. And I just love the British, like, accent. You know, I've always been drawn to it. And so I just decided to put my place. Because, you know, I could have placed it in the United States, but, like, I'm like a culture person, right? I love different cultures. And so, like, I love different cultures. So, like, I mean, I could have put it in Japan. You know, I could have put the setting as, you know, Jamaica. I could have did Africa. I could have did Australia. You know what I mean? Like, India. But and I'm not trying to be funny, but I'm just saying, like, you know, I could have done that because, you know, like, because I love cultures. You know, I love cultures. Different cultures. So I just decided on London as a setting. There was no reason for it. It's just how I wrote, and subconsciously, you know. So yeah. Let's see. I am so sleepy. Oh my gosh. But I mean, that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've just been writing and stuff. You know, I haven't been writing any poetry lately. I think I wrote a poem like maybe 2 weeks ago. But, you know, I just gotta stay creating because, like, I'll get it, you know. It's like, it's just a lot going on right now. So, okay, the video is at 37 minutes, so I'm going to cut this one short. I'll return. I'm going to start up a podcast as well. It's probably going to be just under Ashley Wright. I may do it under my pen name. I don't know yet. The problem is that, so my artist name is Ashley Wright, and then my pen name for my books are Munyani Wright. So I'm trying to figure out which way I want to go, if I want to just stick with Ashley Wright or just Munyani Wright. I'll probably just stick with Ashley Wright. That's what I might end up doing. And just leaving my books for my pen name. We'll see. We'll see. But I'll just post some videos under here, like, for, like, you know, writers and stuff like that. Like, you know, the process of writing a book, you know, from getting the idea to putting it on paper or your laptop or whatever, and then, you know, actually publishing it and editing it and then publishing it, all those steps and what's needed. But yeah, you know, all I gotta say is to the aspiring authors out there, just artists in general, like, you gotta stay focused, you gotta stay determined, don't give up, you know, you gotta keep pushing. It is harder because, like, and when you're traditionally published, they do all the marketing for you. But, you know, the good thing with being indie, you know, we get so much more freedom, creative freedom and stuff, and on top of other stuff. So, you know, I think it's worth it, you know, especially the fact that my message gets across to readers. I love that. That's like one of the best feelings ever, is when your message gets across to the reader. You know, stay away from negativity. Stay away from like toxic family and friends, or should I say so-called friends, because if they're toxic, they're not they're not really your friend. Because you know what I mean? You don't want, a real friend would not be toxic to you. They would be supportive of you. They won't cause drama, right? So stay away from toxic people, whether it be your family members or your friends. Just stay away from them. the best advice I can give is to like not let people take advantage of you. Don't let people try to piggyback off of you either. There are people out here that, you know, want to piggyback off someone else's success or someone else's work and not actually put in the time to learn about that individual's work, but will, you know, but will instantly try to like profit off their work. I mean, it's just some crazy stuff out here. So just keep that in mind, you know. You will have people trying to like exploit you, not exploit you, but like take advantage and, you know, all that stuff. So just be careful with that. Keep your guard up and stuff. Keep your work protected, because like for instance, these right here, these books, these are my babies, right? So you gotta keep them protected, you know. If somebody gets your books get them copyrighted, you know, get your work copyrighted. That way, if somebody does try to put something out that's really, really close to yours, you know, I mean, there's always gonna be some works that are like similar. Like I said, soul, there is some similarity there, you know. There is some similar, even though my book did come out 2018, there is some similarity there. So I hope that they didn't, you know, see my book and then create their own movie. I don't know, but sometimes it's coincidence, you know, coincidental. So it could be that, but just keep your work protected just in case. With the actual copyright, with the copyright office, like, you know, it's not enough to just put it on paper and be like, oh, this is protected. No, you need to get something legal. That way, if somebody does try to copy off of you, you can sue them. So that's what I would say. That's what I would highly suggest. What else? You know, just stay prayed up, you know, stay spiritual. I'm a spiritual person. I don't identify with any one religion. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Buddhist. I'm not a Hinduist? Hindu. I'm not a Hindu. You know, I'm not Muslim. I'm literally like spiritual. Like and that's not to say that someone who's Christian isn't spiritual. What I'm trying to say is I don't identify with one religion, right? I study a lot of religions and then I try to find what works for me as far as my spirituality is concerned. You know, because we're all part of the star. That's why I did that. We're all part of the stars and stuff, the universe. And it's like, nobody really knows anything, to be honest, right? You know, no one knows anything. I know God exists. I feel him, you know, or her, or it, you know. God exists in all of us. I don't think anyone knows. That's the problem. The world is just too divisive. It's like over religion, it's just ridiculous. Something that man created. Man created religion, believe it or not. So, you know, I don't want to say they created religion, but they made it divisive. They made religion divisive. No, you know what? I will say they did create religion, because religion is a practice, right? And that's not to go again to disrespect anybody who is religious. But what I'm saying though is that religion is just so divisive, right? If you tell somebody right now that I think the world is gravitating more towards being accepting of spirituality versus being religious. But before, like when I was in my teens and stuff, if I told someone I'm not a Christian, they look at me like, what, you know? But it's not, and it's like I said, it's not disrespectful to any Christians out there. What I'm saying is though, like, I was like, okay, why is this one religion the right religion when all billions of other people exist, right? In India, you know, like with you know, in Asia, like Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't make sense that all these other religions are just like, they don't matter because Christianity is like, you know what I mean? It just didn't make sense. Even Islamic, like the, you know, Muslim, you know, so I just feel like we're all beings on this earth temporarily, spiritually. And so, yeah, we need to just calm down, relax, you know, nobody knows anything. Just meditate, you know. And so, yeah, open up, you know, just study, research. Don't just do something that someone tells you to do because you know, they think that it's the right way to do it. No, you know, what you want to do is do your own research, you know, think about it and be like, oh, okay. Because, I mean, I'm telling you, there's so much out here. It's just so much crazy stuff out here. Even with Black history, you know, they only teach about slavery and stuff. They didn't teach, like when I was growing up in school, they didn't teach us about, you know, that my ancestors had their own kingdoms and stuff like that. They didn't say that. And, you know, and especially they used to teach like Egypt being, almost making it sound like it was another continent, which it's not. It's part of Africa, right? And so, and they also make you think like, oh, most of the pyramids are built in Egypt. That's not correct. Most of the pyramids were built in, I think, in Sudan, like South Sudan, like, you know what I mean? So sub-Saharan Africa. So like, that's another, you know what I'm saying? So like, it's just ridiculous. And so, but they didn't teach us that, you know, my ancestors had, you know, were wealthy. They had kingdoms and stuff like that. So it's just craziness. But anyway, stay focused, stay woke, stay positive, stay healthy. We got this. Hopefully, you know, things will start opening back up. I mean, this is craziness. Anyway, I'm about to fall asleep, so I'll start posting more and more often. But have a good rest of your night. You know, stay safe. You know, speak up against racial injustice. Speak up against police brutality. Speak up against gun violence, because it's going to keep happening if people do not speak up and challenge the system. It's not going to change unless we, as a people, collectively together challenge these systems. Okay? All right. Be easy. Stay safe. One love. I'm out.